And we are on the air. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever the case may be. In this bright, wonderful world we call home, it is the Aloha Hour. We're back. With me, as always, the astute and effervescent Edwin Boyett. Edwin, that's
Aloha. It is fantastic once again.
All right, you're a little choppy, I guess.
Choppa Magoo, is it better now, or am I still lagging out?
I don't know. It seemed like it took you a minute to respond.
Well,
all right.
You can ask the chat. Chat, how am I sounding? Am I lagging out here, or am I okay?
All right, respond to me immediately. When I say 1, you say 2, okay?
2. Okay.
Okay, well, obviously, all right. It was weird. It was just some bizarre lag the last couple of times. Anyways. So, Edwin, how's Hawaii treating you?
Good. We have been so incredibly busy. This has probably been my company's busiest year ever. And so it's, been jamming it out.
Right on. So you have to get up early tomorrow?
Yeah. My boss usually beats me to work. He's usually there probably about 4:15 in the morning. I try to make it there by about 4:45, but he's actually we're so busy. My boss is over in Maui running a demolition project. We're knocking down some buildings, so I've got to go open up the shop. So I have to get up a little bit earlier than normal.
Right on. Were you watching me do my construction?
Yeah. I saw you doing your amateur plumber impersonation. I saw a little bit more of your fundaroos than I ever wanted to see.
No, you couldn't. Did you really?
Yeah. Crack is whack. Yes, it is.
Yeah. No, the plumbing is like. The plumbing will be tomorrow. I do have to fix the toilet and the shower. So if I were a wise man, I would just hire my neighbor, the plumber. But I'm a cheap man, so I'm gonna.
I saw that distinctive green color of the Ryobi Special from Home Depot.
Why are you hating on my drill, man? It's a good drill.
Actually, for a homeowner, a Ryobi is not a horrible tool. It's just like for us, we can't use them. I mean, we could. Well, we go. We encourage our workers to get like if they buy Ryobis by the end of the year, they'll end up spending more than if they had just bought like a more resilient tool. But we use a little bit of Makita, mostly Hilti though. We're hard on tools, so we buy. Yeah, we buy top of the line.
Okay, tool time.
With hey, I was looking at the new comic list today while I was at work, and I saw your Game of Thrones cover. That thing looked pretty good, man.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I was actually gonna do an unboxing of that. I got those in today. Oh, here, we'll do an unboxing. Oh, no addresses, right? All right, no addresses. So this comes out of, they double box. This is how they always send me my comps, in a double envelope. So,
double bagged for your protection.
Double bagged. Be extra cautious. They double bag, and then yes, here it is, the all new Clash of Kings cover. I was actually going to do a video of this, of me unboxing it, but never mind. I guess we're doing it here.
Well, no, I was just thinking that looked really nice because I haven't seen a whole lot of aside from watching you work on them. I haven't seen a whole lot of your fantasy covers. Yeah, and so that it was nice with the landscape.
Yeah, coloring came out nice too. So for those who don't know, that is Theon and Asha Greyjoy. who in the TV show it's Theon and Yara. They changed her name from Asha to Yara because they thought Asha sounds too much like Arya and people will get confused. Because Yara doesn't sound closer to Arya at all.
Oh, Hollywood magic.
The logic is inescapable. I should like offer to sell these like signed. I have like stacks and stacks of these because I just get these in and I shove them in my cabinet. I'm sure you've all seen my cabinet. Oh, here. My cabinet of shoved comps. So yeah, maybe I should start selling them. I don't know.
Did you see how somehow Tom Arnold wound up in like a thread with Gail Simone, and like
What?
Comicsgate is arguing with Tom Arnold now?
Really? Because of Dean Cain, right?
Yeah.
I saw the video of Tom Arnold arguing with Dean Cain. I didn't see the Gail Simone thread connection though. That'd be great to see.
Oh my God.
You got it? You got it? Can we look through it?
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can pull it up. Celebrities, man, are just even ones I like, I just want them to act. Just act and shut up. Like you play pretend. You play pretend. With very few exceptions. Like, and there's just something about celebrity that it just kind of it skews people's perceptions.
Yes, truth.
Because you've got all these people
like Dave Bautista.
Well, you've got all these people who are just trying to you get used to people supplying emotional validation to you, I think, and it just skews your sense of perception. And from like a biblical perspective, we know we're not supposed to be respecters of persons. Yeah?
Right.
I mean, you can admire a skill and you can compliment on people and stuff and encourage things, but you're not supposed to engage in idolatry with men, which is essentially what celebrity is.
Cool. Let me see this. I'm gonna lock it on you. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Let's see. Gail Simone is amazing, but real Dean Cain started his own trouble when he began openly hanging out with fake Christian women and gay-hating white supremacists, and hoped his old Superman fans would defend him. Pretty lame, huh?
Jeez. Tom Arnold, first-class douche. That guy's always been a first-class douche, though.
Yeah, and he's the one. I wonder if I still have this. Yeah, he was. Let me go ahead and paste this up in here just so he can remember. Pepperidge Farms remembers Tom Arnold when you. Dun, 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 dun. Let me paste this just so. He was like, he makes all these bizarre.
Pepperidge Farms.
Remembers. Let's see. Let me see it. Hopefully that'll be the top post. Yeah. And this is, he said, way past sad and all in for these kids with Judd Apatow. On a plane to New York. Next is protesting Barron Trump's private middle school, as well, and James and Lachlan Murdoch's kids. This is what I can do to end the abuse of these children. We're going to make you uncomfortable. And Judd Apatow, what another brainiac. We've all heard about concentration camps and thought about what we would have done if we were alive at the time. What? What? This is
What we are now. Oh my gosh.
God. Ben Henderson was going on. I still don't understand this. Kill all men. It looks like a Rorschach test for goody birds. What is a goody bird?
She meant Goonie birds, I think. Which,
And she was going in on Comicsgate writers saying
yeah.
they all suck and stuff.
No, she just said there's no actual writers besides, Chuck.
I've read so many of the treatments now. Like I've read yours. Yours was well done, man. Yours is a good, like it would not take a lot of work to actually convert your treatment into like a novelization. So there could be like a Lone Star novel. Ben Henderson's and Chuck Dixon. Ben Henderson actually wrote Ravage, right? Chuck Dixon just kind of just plussed it up some. But and then I've read the stuff. I read the early versions of the stuff that Mitch did with Pele Creepy, Pellegrini, Mark Pellegrini, yeah, for Red Rooster. I've read so many of these treats. Some of the stuff is just it's excellent writing. It is very well written. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And I read her Domino today. Domino #7, that series she's doing for Marvel. Gail Simone should not be tossing rocks. For somebody who is allegedly a professional writer, she should maybe ease up a little bit on her literary criticism, because it's Josh Whedon Buffy humor from like 25 years ago inserted into the middle of hyper-violent Quentin Tarantino torture porn. And so yeah, she should maybe walk a little softly.
Well, the funny thing about comics is, and I've made this point about how they used to hire writers. There really aren't many good writers in the entire industry. That's just, I don't know if you want to call it the nature of the beast or just what happens when you have nepotism run rampant, or nowadays political ideologies doing the hiring for you. Whatever the case, in the last 25, 30 years, writers in comics generally suck. So actual writers, who gives a damn if you're an actual writer? I care if you're a good writer.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all I care about. Antonio Malpica for $5. Wait till she sees when I win an Eisner next year for Best Writer of the Year. Prettiest wants that Best Writer.
Well, there are some gems. There are some gems in Comicsgate. There really are. Did you ever take a look? Did you ever take a look at that Ferryman or that Cowboy Jack Irons?
No, I haven't seen it.
Both of those are well written. I've heard good things about some of Nasser's stuff. I've seen some of Nasser's scripts. But boy, he writes 2 scripts a day, so I'm sure he's bound to produce a gem sooner or later.
That's not how gems are created. Gems take time, I think Nasser's a talented kid, but if he doesn't slow down and you gotta beat that metal to make a knife,
Yeah.
You don't just drop it in the forge and oh, there, I'm done. So I think he's got talent. He's just got to develop some skill and some patience. How many novels has he written this year?
Oh, I
and,
don't
and
know.
has he ever heard of a second draft? It's this thing. where you look at your work after a while and you fix stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just the pace at which he writes, he can't be writing second drafts, you know. I mean, I've got a screenplay. Gosh, I think I'm like 6 or 7 drafts into it.
Oh well.
You know.
But now, if you're doing that many drafts, though, hopefully you have some outside eyes on it, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like you get outside eyes on it because you can't. It's the same thing with art, right? It's like if I finished this page and I didn't ink it for a week, and I just put it away, and then I brought it out a week later, I'd see all the stuff I needed to fix on it. And it's the same thing in writing. So if you know, I write a screenplay or I write a story or whatever, and then I go back, you know, a week, 2 weeks, a month later, and I look at it, that's fresher eyes, right? But if you give it to somebody just, you know, whose opinion you trust, and you're like, you know, tell me what you think, you know, I need your honest critique. Tell me what needs fixing, what needs adding, what needs removing. You don't have to listen to everything they say. If you absolutely love something in a story, you know, you can find a way to keep it in there. But if you trust their opinion, then you should let that be a guide and help it to reshape your story, you know, to something better. Because, like I said, I don't care how professional you are, how actual writer you are. I just want, in particular, Comicsgate, but I want the comics industry in general to produce better work, right? In particular, Comicsgate, because I think the ship has sailed for the rest of the industry. We need to save it. So there you go. Antonio says it right there. $2. Fourth draft with Detective Dead. Writing takes time. That is correct.
Yeah. And here's the deal. When you sit down to write something, maybe you've already pictured a scene in your head, right? And so you can see it, and you understand, you know what you mean to say, you know what you mean to convey.
Right.
But what actually winds up on the paper. So whenever we communicate something, there's what we mean to say, there's what we actually say, and there's what gets heard.
Yeah.
And these are 3 distinct things. This is with any kind of communication, whether it's sequential art, whether it's just the written word or the spoken word.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And sometimes
I do have to set some minds at ease in the chat. Yes, I finished the drawer. So there you go. Everyone happy now. The drawer is done. My daughter actually wanted to do like a quick 2-minute live stream to show the finished drawer. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I write meaning good the first time, Michael Pernesti says. And that's, yeah, meaning, you can, I mean, it's different for everybody, right? I mean, what movie was it? Like, I think One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I think, was a first draft. Am I thinking of the right movie? Maybe it was, no, I think it was Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver. Was that a first draft?
I think Taxi Driver was a first draft. But that's like super, super rare. Right?
Yeah.
There's writers who will not only take 6 months to write a first draft, but then take, you know, 3 months to write a second draft, 3 months to write a third draft. You know, these things take sometimes years to get a solid, well-crafted story. And, you know, I know there's writers that can do it faster. I know there's writers that should do it faster. But but you can't just blurt out the first thing that comes to your head and say, go to print with that. You know? I mean, not in general. If Nasser is some sort of a phenom and he can turn out Oscar quality material, then I take it all back. But just from what he's said, how quickly he writes, it just, I can imagine he would need a good editor at the very least.
Most people just aren't going to have lightning in a bottle. I mean, that
Yeah.
when it happens, it's great, but most people need a reread, a rewrite, and need to think things through. Like, do my characters have distinct voices? Can I tell one character apart from another? And do they have distinct and consistent voices? Do those voices tend to drift? You know what I mean? Or do they have that kind of consistent sound throughout the narrative and the dialogue?
Yes.
And then, like we were reviewing bad comic books today with that Umbrella guy, and
you have such a plethora of choices.
yeah, man, it's I can remember when I was a kid having to agonize over which comic books I would purchase, right?
Yeah.
Because everything looked good. Everything looked good, you know.
It was good. In the early, oh my gosh, everything was good. It wouldn't hit the shelves if it wasn't good.
I had boundless desires, right? I had boundless desires because when I was young, and so everything in comic books I was seeing for the first time. But it all looked exciting, it all looked fun, and I had limited resources. So, you know, you're on that spinner rack and you're just like, and having to weigh, do I want the Spider-Man or do I want the Captain America? I can't get both. Ooh.
Yeah.
And now it's like, this all looks like crap.
Yeah. But there's so much of it.
I know. Well, you go on Comic-Con, you look at the stuff tracked by Diamond, and there's anywhere from 435 to about 525 separate titles that are going to be listed on Comic-Con every month. Some of those in that top 500 will actually be reprints, but usually there's at least 400 unique products that are appearing for the first time. 400 over the course of a month.
And how many of those are Marvel and DC?
With Marvel, between Marvel and DC, that represents of the dollar value usually represents somewhere between 68 and 73% of the market. And I think Marvel by far represents the most titles, right? Every month Marvel has somewhere in the vicinity of 80 to about 120 titles every month. DC's right behind it. I think right after DC for number of titles, it's either, I think it fluctuates between Image and Dynamite. Some months has a lot of titles. They don't necessarily make a lot of money, but they have a lot of titles. Dynamite, IDW has a lot of titles, and there's a couple of, and then there's a whole host of studios that have, like, you know, 2 or 3 titles. But yeah, there's 500 some choices every month for your dollar, and 95% of it is crap.
Yeah. It's, and that you have to lay all of that down at the feet of the writers. You have to. I mean, you can blame the editors for hiring the writers, so maybe you can blame it on the editors. But you go back and look at Sandman. Neil Gaiman didn't always have the world's greatest artists working on those books, but damn it if I didn't buy those books. Because they were great. They were so well written. And I'm an artist buyer, right? I will follow artists from book to book. You know, only buy books because of great art, stuff like that. And granted, I love it when it has a great story and I want to read it more than once. But, you know, there's a handful of writers that you'll pick them up even if the art is just mediocre. And unfortunately, that is a very, very rare exception. And so then you have this second tier of good enough writers that you'd buy anything they wrote if it had a decent artist on it. Right? But most of those 95% of books that you don't want to read, it's because the writers can't tell a story. Not a story interesting enough for you to read. And certainly not a story interesting enough for you to buy in spite of the art. You know, I think we're living in a time where there are more great comic book artists producing really good work than probably ever in the history of the comic book industry. I still don't want to read that crap.
Yeah. With some of the stuff I was looking at today, like the art for that X-Men Black Mojo, art was good.
Yeah.
Art was good.
Art
was good. Story sucked.
That's what I'm saying.
What else did we look at? Looked at Gail Simon's Domino. Art was good in places. It was good in places, but it was professional art. It was professional art, right? Story. Gail Simon's a weird one. Like, you know, she can actually turn out a decent story if she wants to, but she wants to do this Josh Whedon early 1990s Buffy humor inserted right in the middle of like dramatic scenes, and it's just whatever, you know. And it's, her stuff is mature. It's form, because most of her stuff is like high violent stuff, and it's not humor for young people. It's humor for it's boomer humor. Well,
Marvel has not
been,
Marvel's not been targeting young people, you know, for a very long time. So I'm
still trying to figure out what they're doing, because like it seems like they're going out of their way to alienate Comicsgate and anybody who might be sympathetic to Comicsgate. Like it's not enough anymore just to say, we don't care. We're not going to make anything for you, right? Now you see like X-Men Black Mojo, they're taking straight up shots at Comicsgate, right?
Yeah, what'd they do?
Oh, you didn't see that?
No.
Oh shoot. Let me find the preview.
Together.
Hang on, man. Give me 1 second, because the big shots are in the preview, so we can show that. I mean, it's not even thinly veiled.
Yeah. It's really sad that so many of these good, you know, even great writers have just been so broken that they can't just produce good, entertaining stuff anymore. They have to try to get on their little pedestals and push their political agendas. Because, you know, love him or hate him, Mark Waid is one of my favorite writers. You know, I think he's done some of the greatest stuff of the last 20 years. Kurt Busiek as well.
Yeah, Kurt Busiek has lost the plot, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. All these guys, they, you know, the books they were doing 10 years ago weren't insane. You know, I still have books by these guys I can reread and not even get an inkling of their political perspective. But now it's like, you know, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest time.
All right, so this is This is X-Men Black. This is Mojo. And so this is a one shot. As far as I know, it's a one shot. Serviceable art, there's and this is a low quality scan, but you can see that
I
there's,
like the art.
all right, sound speed, and let's take it from the top. Attentions, citizens of the Mojoverse. I almost envy you pitiful, unfamous worms, for you shall soon witness the premium broadcasting event of the season. My new dastardly scheme to kill the X-Men. So here we go. I don't mind some changes here and there as long as it's organic. I just want good stories. So while the old favorites, and see here you see him pointing at like, classic X-Men characters. It looks like the Juggernaut battling with Nightcrawler,
Kitty Pryde.
Colossus, and it's like Kitty Pryde. Yeah. So while the old favorites are on a mission, I have chosen to attack the mansion, wiping these faux men off the face of the earth live on the Mojo stream. It's time to bring back the X-Men classics. Reboot, rebirth, no more new mutants. There was another page here, but there's stuff that's pretty much where he's talking about the storytelling and so forth, and just straight out hitting out at Comicsgate. Let me see. Let me see if I can get up that other page. I hate going to Bleeding Cool, but I think they've got the pages.
They're the worst.
Hopefully my computer doesn't get an STD.
Seriously.
Yeah, here we go.
I'm really surprised they didn't make him orange.
For too long, the group of mutants I grew up with have been overshadowed by new characters. Characters designed to appeasing demo at the fans self. And then it's got, pictures of the newer characters up there. So it's straight up, and pretty much everybody, believes that it's a pretty much shot.
What, it took 4 people to write that?
Who was on it? Okay, well, there's a story in the back. There's a story in the back about Apocalypse. Scott Aukerman is the writer. He's some kind of comedian guy.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, you're not missing much. But yeah, I don't mind some changes here. I don't mind some change here and there as long as it's organic. I just want good stories. Going down, yeah, for too long, the group of mutants I grew up with has been overshadowed by new characters designed to appeal to changing demographics at the expense of true fans like myself. So essentially, they're taking and distilling some of the words of Comicsgate, and putting it, right in his mouth. And the writer thought it was a shot at Comicsgate.
Whoa! Put that back on.
I think I closed it out. I'm sorry.
Oh, because it had some joke about Shlomo on there. I wanted to see that.
Oh, I guess he's using that. I know. I looked at that and I couldn't tell if it was supposed to be, but Aukerman may be. I don't think it's anti-Semitism.
Well, Shlomo is the Hebrew way you say Solomon. So that's why I was just curious. Can you not hear me?
I just lagged out on me. Sorry.
Oh.
Shlomo is the Hebrew word for?
Is the Hebrew word for Solomon. So I didn't know. I just glimpsed it right before you shut it off. So I wanted to see what that was actually about.
Yeah. Written that he goes to a coffee shop to get some coffee. And I missed a super chat. I'm sorry. This is from, what a great name. Watermelon Platypus. Zach tried to help Loki is sealed. Oh, maybe let's try this again. I think we needed a period. Zach tried to help. Maybe period. Now their fate is sealed.
Is Edwin lagging out for anyone else, or is the whole stream lagging out?
F here. Press F for Ed's connection. Oh, that may be me. I'm sorry.
It's not me this time.
I've got everything closed but the Hangout. Is that better?
I guess it's better now. All right. Well, the do you want to try popping out and popping back in, Edwin? I guess that was a yes. All right, let's see what you can. You're fine. Thank you very much, Eric. You're pretty fine yourself. It's safe. It's safe for Mike. Getting boy up. What we got was Ethan Vance Cyborg. And there's Edwin.
Is it better?
Seems okay to me right now. Hopefully it will maintain. Yeah, Bubba says Edwin lagged several times in the last few days where he ends up using his Cthulhu voice. It did give your computer an STD. It's bleeding cool.
Bleeding cool sucks.
Yeah, it does. That is just the worst website ever. I hate to ever go there for a story.
I'm gonna have squirt.
Oh wow, you are laying out hard, bro.
I don't know what of a bad connection right now, Mike. Maybe I'll say good night to you, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.
All right, brother. Aloha.
Okay. Aloha, everybody.
Well, that means that I'm on my own. So I guess I have to stop working so I can pay diligent attention to my friends in the chat. I know. Shed a tear for our beloved Edwin running off into the Hawaiian sunset. So the solo stream. Yeah, the topic of the night was supposed to be Drax Goes to Bat. It's about Dave Bautista. Maybe I could read the article here. Let me read the article here for you fellas. All you fellas. Clickety click, clickety click. So, yeah, let me share my screen too. If I share my screen, you can see what I'm saying. There we go. Can you guys hear the music in the background? Sharing screen. All right, so Dave Bautista is eager to join James Gunn's Suicide Squad 2. It didn't take long for Dave Bautista to respond to the news that James Gunn will be writing and possibly directing Suicide Squad 2. The wrestler-turned-actor took to Twitter and said, "Where do I sign up?" when Gunn's new gig was announced. Bautista worked with Gunn on the first two Guardians. Obviously, when Gunn was fired from Disney for offensive tweets, Bautista became vocal supporter of Gunn. Yeah. And then he made suggestions of who he could play, Bane, Mr. Freeze, blah, blah, blah. I didn't really, it's not much of an article. It's just like the only trending comic book related story out today. So, Dave, what the hell are you thinking? I understand that the idea of wanting to be loyal to your friend. I do. I really do. And you know, there's something to be commended for that. But I didn't click. Well, yeah, I did clickbait. It's clickbait. That's sorry, but that who cares? I mean, you don't have to care. My point is that, yeah, I understand the desire to be loyal to a friend, but when your friend has gone that far off the deep end, like if one of my friends, I'm not going to point anybody out because that would be distasteful, started cracking jokes, or it was discovered that he was cracking the kind of freaking sick, disgusting, perverse, inexcusable crap that James Gunn had been tweeting, had been making, and that's tweeting. Can you imagine what he would the kind of crap he had been saying in private? Usually, like, people will say things on a public forum that are much more mild than the kind of stuff that they would say in private. And you know, out of the mouth comes the overflow of the heart. So whatever it was that was rotten enough on the inside for James Gunn to actually say those things in a permanent context, like Twitter, like the internet forgets nothing, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't want someone 40 years from now to know what you were thinking right now, don't put it on the internet, because it's permanent. It'll never go away. And then to back up somebody who did that, I don't know, do you think that's purely friendship? Do you think that's purely loyalty? Or do you think it's, I don't know, something more nefarious? I would hate to assume it was something more nefarious. But you never know, man. These are some messed up times and some messed up people. Watermelon platypus for $5. Zach tried to help local comic shops, but now their fate is sealed. I'm afraid that's probably true. Sketch brings up fridging women. I'm not sure why, but I have no problem with fridging women. I never understood that, why it was such a problem to have a beloved character, and when you have a character in a heterosexual relationship, the most important beloved character in a man's life would be his wife, girlfriend, right? And the fridging, everyone knows that. What's that about? But yes, having your beloved go through, be murdered, or whatever torturous thing you want to have them go through for the character to develop into a hero, or as a hero, or to develop some non-pre-existing pathos about him as a persona. I think that's completely legitimate, and I think that it's ridiculous to argue against it. But man, woman, why can't they both be women? Women. Not even going to bother. The complaint about the cover of Brand is essentially a fridging argument. I don't care. I'm gonna create a universe where none of these stupid, politically correct arguments hold any sway on the stuff that comes out. If I want to have Milo Manara do a character crawling off a building upside down, I probably wouldn't. But I wouldn't, if I want to have Frank Cho draw a sexy woman as a sexy woman, God bless you, Frank. None of this stuff is ever gonna freaking nothing. The Bleeding Cool Fools, or the Gail Simones of the world, or the Tom Taylors, frankly, could ever say to me would stop me from doing what I think is in the best interest of a story. So, I feel like you guys are carrying on a conversation without me in the chat. Yeah, I don't know what the complaint is about the brand cover either. So I'm out of the loop too, Liam. Let's see. Simplest solution is usually the one. Will people stop saying, see what I did there, and cuck and beta and epic in your universe? Well, I've never come across that. I don't think I've ever used those words in my writing, but who knows? Sketch says, no. James Gunn stuck a living girl named Mia, Matsumiya in a fridge. You talked about the day your mom was, oh, yeah. That's what you're talking about. Okay. Sorry, Sketch, but in the comic book world, fridging a woman is talking about when a character's wife or girlfriend, I can't remember which one, was like put in a refrigerator and after she was murdered. And it became this whole thing. So it's shorthand for a writer's misogynist use of a female character's death to propel a hero into furthering his storyline. So that is what I was talking about. Said that the brand cover was violence against women. How's this? This is the cover for number 2, Lone Star number 2. Can I get press for violence against women too? These people. Kyle's mom got put in an oven as well. Oh, that's lovely. Women put into kitchen appliances. Fantastic. Would fridging men be okay? Hey, you know what? If a character has to die to propel your main character into the story, to develop them, then so be it. They're fictional. They're fictional. No one's abusing real women here. I mean, except for James Gunn, right? Bridging sounds dirty. You know, it's funny. You guys haven't even. You don't even know who this girl is. After you read the first. This is Angel. So after you read the first issue, and then you see Angel in this position here, then you'll feel bad. Because that's why I abuse this woman. So you'll feel bad. They're trying to see Antonio is as guilty as a woman beater. Oh, brother. It's fiction. It's fiction. What is wrong with these people? New definition of... I'm not even going to read that, Bubba. Dude, how many times Uncle Ben has to die? Exactly. Why don't they do an alternate version where Aunt May dies and Uncle Ben has to take care of Peter? Ooh. That would be interesting. He's a bent. The rest is great. A classic 50s damsel pose, and it looks great. Oh, thank you, Liam. Yeah, you know, if you want to take a closer look at it, so you see how I have her buttons undone, and you can see her cleavage. That's not meant to be sexual. The thing about putting women in distress in stories, in comics, in artwork, is because it brings out a natural propensity in male readers. The male, as I think Richard said it. It's the male power fantasy, not the male, or the male hero fantasy, right? It's protection. It's It is a desire to protect the women. Paul Sedaris says, yeah, it is this instinct to protect. And that, I mean, that creates an emotional response from your reader, from your viewer. And so that's why it wasn't intended to be the sexualization. It was the emphasis on the feminine. And this girl in this completely helpless, situation where, I mean, I even have her, the thumb is in her throat and she's bleeding. And obviously, you've got a Lone Star here who wants nothing more than to protect her, but now he is in a state of duress and powerlessness as well, which draws greater tension. It's like I love covers where the villain is winning, right? Because it's like, oh, how are you gonna that freaking cover where Dark Phoenix is like crushing the X-Men logo in her hands. John Byrne, remember that? So great, right? It's so I'm trying to harken back to that, and I'm trying to evoke that protective desire from not just obviously my hero, but the reader as a participant in the story. So yeah, that's what I was going for. And if the feminists hate it, they can take a flying leap because I don't care. Visceral response. That is correct. Makes you ask how the hero overcomes them. That is correct. Yes, metal. Back when comics were good. Exactly. If fridging supports misogyny, do dark side stories support slavery and genocide? Yeah, they're very selective. Those social justice people. Very, very selective about what they're outraged about. And their outrage is designed, to divide us, divide men and women. The men and women should be united at all costs, and instead that's what they want to do. They want to divide us. They want to divide us, and then they want to somehow convince us that there's no difference between us. So they are really sort of schizophrenic in their thinking. None your business. No, I am sorry, but I probably won't have any Jello wrestling in my comic books. Ask John Malin. John Malin might be into that. She's not going to get up and one punch the really tall guy. Nope. She's definitely not. Watermelon Platypus for $2 again. They censored Zach. That's the book burners. Yep, they're the fascists. They are the fascists, and sometime I hope they wake up and they see it. Oh, that's what we're doing. All right, guys. Well, it's midnight my time. I'm going to stay up a little longer. I'm going to try to get this last page. I'm not going to show it. But on the other side of this paper is the last page of Lone Star, Part of the Hero. So, hey, Mike, who is Parker? We'll leave that for another stream. Thank you guys for being here. And as Edwin would say, please do try to be the best person that you can be. Ask God for help. He'll help you out. Learn to confess your sins in a practical way. Say you're an atheist, agnostic, and anything but ist. Confession is self-reflection. If you cannot self-reflect and look at your own flaws and see your own flaws and then admit to your own flaws, you'll never be able to overcome your flaws. So, confession, self-reflection, however you want to say it, please try to find ways to become a better person, whatever your belief system is, to make the world around you, the immediate world, the people you interact with, a better place, and therefore, hopefully it spreads. Spread the love, everybody. Aloha Hour out. Lone Star Squadron, you're dismissed.